The next laptop stand we're going to look at is from Odyssey. This is the LSTAND M, and it has the optional tray attachment with it. I ordered that also. This particular unit runs about $90 for the stand and about $25 for the tray. Let's take a look at some of the features of the LSTAND M combo. So first off, of course, it comes with a nice little carrying bag. In the kit, it also comes with clamps that you can either use to hook the stand up to a case, whether you need to go this way or this way, whatever you need to do. It's got some great flexibility where it can be a tabletop stand with the foot that it has on it right now. And again, if you take a look at this, this is a thinner metal foot that will fit under your mixers without touching the mixer at all. Or you can take these off. There's little thumb screws right here. You can take those off and you can hook this up and clamp it on the side of your case if you've got a big old coffin that you'd want to hook it up to. On the sides, you'll notice that we have a couple of thumb screws here, one of which the tray is being held up with, and the tray is being held, it's riding on the screw or the bolt, and it also has this little bit of a wing back here, if you can see that. That little wing goes behind and allows it to give it the other point of contact. It's being held by the little thumb screw there, and by that. This particular tray can be extended or can be lowered. Right now it's pretty much, I think, in the highest position, or pretty close to the highest position, but it can be lowered or it can be raised, depending upon what your needs are for this guy. You'll see the tray. If you take a look at that, there's a lip on the front of the tray. That, of course, will help hold your hard drive in. The tray is expandable if you need to make it wider, narrower, what have you. It can definitely do anything you need to do that. I'm going to turn it a little bit so you can take a look at it. The sides are a painted metal. Actually, it's powder-coated metal, but there isn't any kind of a slip resistance. I mean, it's not a slippery thing, but there are little rubber feet, or I should say little rubber stops down here. So your laptop will sit here and it won't scratch up the front of the laptop. The bottom of the laptop, maybe not so much to worry about, but it's got its protection there in the front, which is more where you see more cosmetic damage. So that's just an overview of this guy. Let's put the mixer and the laptop on this thing and take a look at what it looks like together. So we're getting ready to put the laptop on, and of course it can adjust a little bit, but you need to have it completely up in a 90-degree angle. Have these loose, and you can just drop it in. Then you tighten up these bottom ones. What that does is it will lock it in because there's a little bit of a groove there, so it won't come forward. Your top shelf has a similar, you loosen those up, it drops right in. Now my L stand is locked in and ready for a laptop. We've got our laptop, we have our controller, and I'm set. Now this one I have set a little bit higher. I think this might be the highest one, the tallest one that in the settings I have that I'm looking at here over this whole week. Because it's a little higher, I can actually have it a little bit closer than some of the other ones because my angles for seeing my controller, of course, are much better when the computer is higher. Now if you're a shorter person, 5'6", this is certainly way too high for you with the table I'm using. But for a lot of people, again, having that laptop up high is kind of a cool thing. But it's a very, very nice unit, stable. I'm up at the highest height. Got to keep that in mind. So it's going to be a little bit shaky, but to work on the laptop, it's certainly fine. I wouldn't have any concern with that. It's a nice wide base, so the laptop's not going to get knocked off. Having a little bit, the laptop can slide a little bit easier than I would like. I'd like to see a non-stick, some kind of a non-stick pad, and it's probably something that I'll look at putting something on here, just a little bit of a rubber gasket of some sort, just to keep the laptop from moving. So this is the Odyssey LSTAND M with shelf. Stand again was $90, the shelf's about $25, so you have about $115, $120 into this configuration. Looking at our criteria, flexibility. Height can be adjusted, shelf placement can be adjusted, angles not so much really for adjustment, and having it really locked in there. You've almost got to have it set as you're seeing right now where it's just a little bit less than 90 degrees at the top, kind of a 90 degree at the bottom. So it's got some flexibility, more than some of our others that we've looked at, and less than some of the others we're going to be looking at. Portability. Well, it folds down. You loosen these up. That'll tip down. The top tips down. Loosen up. The bottom tips up. The shelf has to come off completely in order to transport the unit, or you'd have to have a box big enough to handle it with the shelf out. So portability, it's average. It's better than some. Some are going to be a little bit nicer. It just takes a little time to pull these out and not drop and lose washers and such, and that's something I don't like to do at shows, is to be taking things out and watching washers do across the floor. So it gets kind of an average score with the portability. Adjustability, the angles don't adjust. They're basically, once they're in and you're tight, they're there. What you see right here is what you're going to get. The height is the big thing. You can lower this down for people who are in that 5'6" area. You can put it up higher for a person in that 6 foot range. So for the adjustability on this guy, just the height alone would make me give it a high score. And lastly, sturdy. Once it's locked in, it's a very sturdy. It doesn't have the weight of the controller holding it down, which would really stiffen it up a little bit. But overall, if you're using it, left and right is very sturdy. It's not going to go back. It's not going to be something where someone comes up and grabs your laptop and is able to pull it out and have it flop over. So overall, it's not as sturdy as it could be, but it's still a very sturdy stand. And I think for a lot of folks, this could be a really great option for a laptop stand. This is John Young with the Disc Jockey News.